Stamps live on a Thursday night. And if I am live, well, I'm Barb Mullican with barbstamps.com. And if I'm live on Thursday, it must be 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 Mountain, 6 Central, and 7 Eastern. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. I see a bunch of you have already been in the comments chit-chatting, and that's awesome. I think most of it might be about weather. Some of you are having some interesting weather, some hot weather, it looks like. Although in Colorado, where Cheryl is, it's 76 and cloudy. I think here it's about 84, something like that. Very sunny day, beautiful day. Yesterday, my husband and I decided to go on a razor ride. And for those of you that don't know, a razor is like a four-wheeler that you sit side by side rather than front and behind. And ours has a nice roof over it and a windshield so that I don't have to get too cold if it's windy or too hot if it's sunny. So we took our little razor up the mountain yesterday, and it was very, very cloudy and foggy when we first got up there. So we were literally driving up the mountain road and couldn't see, I don't even know, 2-3 car lengths in front of us, which was kind of creepy, but kind of cool at the same time, right? So we parked our truck, we got the razor out, and we started heading up the mountain on the mountain road. And same thing, it was very, very foggy, and we could very much not see anything at all. And we were hoping, fingers crossed, that when we got to the top of the mountain, that the fog was only at the bottom. When we got to the top, we'd be above the fog. No such luck. So, mind you, it was a little misty the whole day. It wasn't cold. I mean, it was like, 70 probably degrees. So it wasn't really cold at all. It was just foggy and cloudy and cool. So we just kept going. We just went on our nice little ride, and we saw some very interesting scenery. That was fun. We took a lot of pictures. We went to 2 lakes that are up on the mountain. Park Reservoir, if you're from around here, you'll know what I'm talking about, and the Bighorn Reservoir. The Bighorn Reservoir is where we actually get our water to water our lawn from. Our subdivision owns so many acre feet of water out of that reservoir. So we went up there. It was kind of cool to see that. It was beautiful. There was no people up there hardly at all. So we were like at this lake, just surrounded by nature and quiet. It was so quiet. It was amazing. We parked and had a little lunch that I had packed, nothing fancy like cheese and crackers, I don't really ever go crazy when we do things like that. But yeah, we had a really nice day. I think we left here about 10 o'clock. We got home about 4:30. And as we did keep going on the mountain, the sun did come out. So when we got to those lakes, it was a beautiful sunny day with those kind of big white puffy clouds. It was fantastic. We had a really nice time. So he's back to work tonight. I'm back to work tonight. And I have a couple of fun projects for you guys. I hope you like them. And today is a lot nicer. We woke up and there was no clouds. It was all sunny today, so that's fun. What else? My husband, that's kind of a toy that we bought for him a number of years ago. I think he saw it for sale somewhere. He works in the county, as you would know. He drives around and whatever. And he saw it for sale. So on his day off, I think he sent my son out there because my son, I don't know why he sent my son out there. My son went out there and tried to get the price a little bit lower from the guy. The guy was not budging, which was fine. It was definitely worth what he wanted. You just never want to pay full price. You always want to pay a little bit less if you can, right? So we did get it for the price that the guy wanted, but it was amazing. We got so many extra things with this that it's just cool. We got 2 different kinds of doors. Like I said, we got the roof, we got the windshield, the doors. What else did we get? There was a winch, and I can't even remember. It's all man stuff, men were talking, my son and my husband, and they were chatting, and I was just hearing because I don't understand man talk. You know what I'm saying? So they were talking about, the CCs and the horsepower, and right over my head. I didn't even care. All I know is that I don't have to drive anything. I just get to sit there and enjoy the ride. Before, when we had four-wheelers, I'd either have to ride behind him, which is not super comfortable when you get of an older age to sit behind somebody, and you're going over all these bumps, and I'd much rather sit in a seat with the seatbelt on. So yeah, so that's what I do. Anyways, we had a great time. Back to work today. In case you guys were unaware, it is free shipping right now from Stampin' Up! If your order is $75 or more. But do keep in mind that $75 is merchandise total after any Stampin' Rewards are applied. So if you have an $80 value of merchandise in your cart and you put $10 of Stampin' Rewards on your order is now $70 and would not qualify for the free shipping. It just have to be $75 after any rewards or coupon codes are applied. So just keep that in mind. And then of course, shipping and tax is on top, or not shipping, but tax would be on top of that amount. So but yeah, I love free shipping. It's a great time. Every time we have free shipping, I always stock up on cardstock, adhesive, envelopes. I kind of go through my blends. I kind of keep an eye on them. I kind of know which ones might be maybe starting to get a little bit dry on me. And I'll order new blends. I check my reinkers, and if I need any reinkers, I get reinkers. Sometimes I do need, if I'm looking for some new products to play with, I'll throw those on there too. So yeah, it's just a great time for you to get some free shipping. And in case you didn't know, Stampin' Up! Held their virtual album retreat last week. It was a scrapbooking event, and you could purchase a kit for it that would allow you, the kit was comprised of pieces and parts and everything to make 12 two-page layouts, so 24 12 by 12 scrapbook pages. And they did live events, live classes for each set of pages. And they shared so many tips and tricks while they were going through this. I was able to catch 3 of the live events. I was able to get 6 of my pages done. For me, I was pretty happy with that because, I am still doing my other Stampin' Up! Things, and I am very busy all of the time. And so I was pretty happy that I allowed myself the time to get 6 of the pages done. I do need to find some photos still, but the pages are done. So where I was going with that was, okay, the cost of this kit is $250. I understand that's a lot of money, but right now it's free shipping. So that means your cost of the kit is $250. You get Stampin' Rewards on top of that. So you're going to get a $25 off of that amount. Then, because they forgot to put an extra page protector in the kit, they're going to email you a coupon code for $15. So can you just see the discounts coming in on this kit? It's incredible. So now is a really, really good time. If you haven't purchased that already, now is a really good time to do that. And I'm still working towards my $1 million, and every order will help me. And I would love to get your order for this album kit. And I do have a newsletter special going on. If you're a member of my newsletter list, I have a special for people that are ordering over $100. So I don't know if you're on my newsletter list or not. So if your order's over $100, you're going to get my special. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but newsletter subscribers know. So yeah, so I would appreciate it if you guys don't have a demonstrator, or if you've got some, cash burning a hole in your pocket. I would love for you to help me get to my $1 million. So yeah, Flo is saying it was a fabulous event, so much to share and learn. It was. And she said it was well worth the price. I agree, Flo. It really was. And I understand that $250 sounds like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. But the value that you got for this $250 is amazing. It's amazing. Just like she said, the videos alone with all the tips and tricks in them was incredible. They went at a very nice pace. I could almost keep up with what they were doing. If they got ahead of me, it was no problem. I could just pause the video and then I could just keep going. The videos are going to stay in the private Facebook group. Facebook allows videos to stay in there for 30 days. After that 30-day time, Stampin' Up! Will load all those videos onto YouTube, so they will be available forever. Tony is also saying it's well worth the money, totally well worth the money. And I know they still have some kits left, so now is the perfect time to get yourself one of those kits. Okay, what else? I don't think anything else exciting is really going on. Did I do anything last weekend? No. I did album retreat and I worked. And I got more two-tone cardstock in. Oh my gosh, you guys, after I was live last Thursday, I was flooded with orders. I sold out every pack that I had, and I had to reorder. And it was crazy. After I got off this live, I went to check my email, and there was already so many orders in there for this two-tone cardstock that I immediately went to the website and ordered more so that I could make sure that I have enough. So I do have 2 different options for you if you're interested in some two-tone cardstock. Basically what I've done is I've purchased the, assorted packages, and then I cut them up and put them in these little packages, and then I mail them out to you. So it's a nice sampling of, you get 48 6x6 sheets of lots of different colors. And so I do have more. I got it in last night. I've got it all cut up and ready to roll. So yeah, I've got more two-tone cardstock. There's a link in the description of this video if you want to buy it. And that also helps me get to my $1 million too. So just saying, thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who has ordered already. I appreciate that so much. Okay. I am going to be babysitting a doggy tomorrow night. One of my son's friends is turning 21 tomorrow night, so they are going out to celebrate her birthday, and he asked me if I would watch his doggy. Of course I will. So we will have an overnight guest tomorrow, so that's exciting. I'm kind of looking forward. I kind of miss him sometimes, when he's not around, which he's not around a lot, but he's kind of fun. He's kind of a pain sometimes too, but he is kind of fun. So I will be excited to have him here tomorrow. Okay. Gosh, I think that's it. Like I said, my life is usually fairly boring. Kim, I mean, when you say close, what do you mean? What is close? You know what I mean? I'm about $10,000 away. So for me, that's pretty close. I've been watching it for quite a while. Ever since I hit 900,000, I've been kind of watching it and thinking, oh my gosh, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. You know what I mean? And so for me personally, it's probably going to take me, I mean, unless I just get, a run of orders from people, which I would love, by the way, it might take me 3 or 4 months, but I'm hopeful that it'll happen this year. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. It would be a really great Christmas present, because there is a nice bonus involved with that. And I do have to say that less than 1% of demonstrators worldwide achieve this. It's probably even less than that. I think there's only been 90 people that have sold $1 million in the entire company over the course of however long Stampin' Up's been around, 37 years or something like that. So yeah, it's a big milestone. It's hard to do. And it takes a lot of effort and a lot of diligence, a lot of patience, a lot of hard work, all that kind of stuff. So, yes, I'm very, very excited. Oh, Bonnie said she just finished my mixed media card class. Oh, yay. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun creating those cards too. All right. I think, yes, Diana, I haven't gone to my mailbox today, so I've got to go to the grocery store after I'm live. I'll check my mailbox. Fingers crossed that it's in there. And then I can get your packet of your two-tone cardstock out to you tomorrow. So yes. Okay. Let me flip the camera and we will get started here, girls. And guys, if there's any guys watching me, I mean, I don't think there is. I never see any guys in my comments, but I mean, you never know. I know that guys stamp too, so there could be some guys watching. If there are some guys watching, I would love for them to leave me a comment and tell me where they're from. Actually, I love hearing where all of you guys are from, not just guys. And when I say guys, I mean guys and girls. You know what I mean. Okay, let me get some of this stuff out of my way. My tripod. Clip my hair back here just because it's always hanging in my face. And put my glasses on. Lord knows I need my glasses to be able to see. So we did talk about free shipping. This goes through Friday night, 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. That free shipping on orders of $75 or more. And then we did discuss what does that actually mean. If you have Stampin' Rewards, you definitely need to make sure that your order is $75 after you apply your rewards. Okay. Plus, you will earn rewards on your order too. So if you place a $75 order, you will get $7.50 back in rewards. So there you go. Oh, Maria's on here and she says she's a little late. She said, thank you for the two-tone paper. It came so fast. Yeah, I've got it ready to go, you guys. It can leave here tomorrow. If you order it tonight, I can get it out of here tomorrow. So yes, I do pride myself on shipping as quickly as I can. Obviously, if I run out again, which I'm hoping I don't, then I have to reorder. But I'm pretty close to Stampin' Up, so it only takes a couple of days for me to get my order once it ships from Stampin' Up. So luckily, living in Wyoming does have its perks. Okay, so enough about the free shipping. We are having Stamp Happy Academy Bingo coming up next month on August 20th. And if you do order a Stampin' Bingo packet, that does help me get to my million because I do have to order some products for that. So, I mean, any little bit is helpful, you guys. Any little bit. So Stampin' Bingo is coming up next month in August. on the 20th. And we're going to be playing 6 rounds of bingo. We're going to be having 6 fun cards that we're going to be making. 3 will be live, 3 will be recorded videos. There is a PDF available, or there will be a PDF for this event. And we do have a little kit of supplies that goes with it. We're going to be using the Perfectly Pairs bundle and the Label Me Grateful bundle, along with the Painterly Pairs paper, the low profile dots that go with that paper, and then the Mossy Meadow ribbon. So all those goodies will be included in your packet if you decide to purchase it, and the link is in the description of this video. Charming Day classes. My classes are going out of here tomorrow, so if you ordered a kit already, your kit that I'm shipping your kit, it's going to be going out of here tomorrow. We still have kits available, so if you do want to get in on the Charming Day class, there is a link in the description of the video. Stamp Happy Party. We have this every month on the second Wednesday of the month, unless there's something going on like Christmas or a holiday or something, or one of us is out of town, but we're shooting for the second Wednesday of every month. This is going to be on the 13th of August. And to qualify for the party, all you have to do is either be a Stamp Happy Academy subscriber. That is free for you if you're a subscriber, or place an order in my online store for $35 or more, and I will send you an invite to that party. Also, if you order from me, my online store, any order size will get you my monthly gift with purchase in the month of July. It is the Turtly Cute bundle. So you get the instructions to make all 5 of these cards, or 10 of these cards, excuse me. If your order is over $50, you get all that stuff that I just talked about, plus the tutorial bundle. This month we're using the Beautiful Garden, which is amazing, and the cards are gorgeous. I will email you that as well. And then Stamp Happy Academy, we have 3 live classes every month in addition to our Stamp Happy Party. We have, oh my gosh, we have a quarterly bingo, which again is happening next month. We have an online class PDF each month, and then we send out a bundle every month to a subscriber. So definitely a good thing to get in for, and it's only $20 a month. Here is the virtual album retreat that I was talking about, and here are my pages. And granted, they look like everyone else's pages, so if you've seen them, you've seen them. But I was really impressed with myself that I was able to do it, and it was easy to follow along. I have not scrapbooked in ages, you guys, but I just very much enjoyed doing this. Look at these fun pages. How fun is that? So I just need to find a couple of photos. This is a journaling block here. Another journaling block. I think these are for photos. I mean, you can do whatever you want, obviously, but I kind of did the pages as Stampin' Up! Designed them, just because that's what I decided to do. Here is another one. I did not use they give you die cut month names. They are black, and they coordinate really well with the pages. I just didn't know if that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to have my pages say January, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know what photos I was going to want to use. So I opted to not put that on my pages yet. I may end up doing it if it works out with the photos that I choose, but these are all for photos. Super fun. Photo here, 3 photos here. And then finally, I got these pages done. Oh gosh, so much fun this was, you guys. Check that out. How fun is that? I did put February in there just because everything is kind of heart themed. So I thought, a lot of things happen in February where there's hearts involved. But I did take this little tip from the class. You get this heart. This is a folded heart. And then you get a little white heart. And so they recommended that you take this white heart and you cut yourself a photo placeholder so that you can end up putting a heart-shaped photo in here. But I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have an actual heart-shaped thing? So when I'm trying to figure out where I want to cut my photo, and I used one of the plastic sheets that come in a photopolymer stamp set. And so I just I didn't die cut it, I fussy cut around the heart that was supplied in the kit. And now I have this so that I can choose where I want, where I want to cut my photo, and then I'll be ready for that. So yay, I was just so excited to get these done, you guys. So I've got a few more to go, and I'm hoping to get some more done this weekend. Again, the videos are still on the Facebook group, so I won't have any trouble finding them. And it was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. All right. So that is everything. Let me get these out of the way. And then we shall bring in our first project. Okay, you guys may remember this card from a couple of weeks ago. I'm pretty sure I made this on live. And what I did was I took the paper out of the kit, not a kit. Well, it's kind of a kit because it's got some die cuts in here. But this is the Halloween paper. This is called the Spooky Sweet. And I took this piece here, and it's mostly orange, black, and gray, but I wanted to add another color to it. I wanted to use some Petunia Pop. So I took a blending brush, and I dipped it in my Petunia Pop, and I added Petunia Pop just kind of randomly all over my card. Can you guys see that? I hope the camera's picking that up. There's a little bit right here, a little bit down here, some over here. And so I ended up having a piece left over because I wasn't sure what kind of card I was going to make. And so I had a vertical piece left over. And so I decided to take that piece and do something with it today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make another Halloween card, but we're going to use that piece of paper that I already have ink blended on. And so let me get all my goodies out here. So here is that piece. I just have a little bit of ink blending in a few spots here, just so I can bring in that Petunia Pop color, and it won't look weird having Petunia Pop with just a piece of paper that's orange, black, gray, and white. So that's what I decided to do. So I just kind of made this piece fit on a piece of pumpkin pie. So my piece of designer series paper is 1 3/4 by 4.5. And my piece of pumpkin pie is 3 1/4 by 4.5. And so I'm going to do a little bit of background stamping on this. Pull in my scrap paper. Oh, here's from my, the scrapbooking class. I did a little bit of stamping and stuff on here. Okay, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a Versamark pad. So I'm going to take, this is a little, here is the stamp set and the, whoops, get that out of the way. Here's the stamp set and the die set. They're called Spooky Halloween. As you can see, we have a lot of different sentiments. We have some little bats that are really cute. We have a cute little witchy cat and a little Frankenstein doggy, a little treat basket and a broom. And then we have this little sparkle background stamp here. So I'm going to take the little sparkle background stamp, and I'm just going to kind of randomly stamp it on this piece of pumpkin pie. Just sort of, I don't know, randomly stamping it. That's just what I'm doing here. And so I'm just kind of turning the stamp. Doesn't matter what it looks like over here. I'm covering that side with designer series paper. So I can just kind of stamp this wherever. And then if I need to fill in a little spot, I can. And we'll just keep going down the card. Okay, so that's what we have. Just a little bit of sparkle on there. And now I can go ahead and add my DSP. And I think I mentioned this was my brush, and I think there might still be some ink on this, so I probably could add a little more if I wanted to, and there is some, and I'm going to. A little bit more ink on this, so we'll just add a little bit more to our piece of paper so we can really tie in that color. And then I'm going to bring in some glue, and I'll just add a little glue here. There we go. And we'll attach this to the edge of this piece of pumpkin pie. I don't need this, at least not for the moment. I might need it a little later. There's a tiny, tiny little overhang there that we're going to cut off. Okay. Then I am going to bring in the ribbon. Oh, I got to go grab it. I totally forgot I was going to iron it a little bit. Sometimes when you get your ribbon, depending on how it's wound on the roll, it might be folded over just a tiny little bit. And if you find that on your ribbon, which I do occasionally, I just iron it flat. Now, this ribbon probably might melt if I put my iron directly onto this. So what I would do, and this is where my ribbon was over at my iron, I would put a piece of paper towel down on top of this before I went over it with my iron, just to make sure, because I feel like with the iridescentness of this ribbon, I feel like it might melt. And so just to be sure that it didn't melt, that's what I would do. I would put a piece of paper towel over the top of it first. But I have ironed numerous ribbons that get wound. And like I said, it just happens as it's getting wound on the spool. Sometimes it gets off just a tiny little bit, and then it might get folded over. So no big deal. Pretty easy to fix it. Okay, so thankfully the majority of my ribbon where I'm working right here does not need to be ironed, so we are in good shape. So I'm just going to take my ribbon and I'm going to put it over the seam where the paper meets the cardstock, just because I don't like to have a naked seam. I typically always like to have something over it. It just looks better, I think. Okay, so that's the ribbon that goes with this suite, and it is called the Petunia Pop Iridescent Ribbon. So no biggie there. And like I said, just use a piece of paper towel over the top of it. And I've never had any ribbons melt on me. All right, so then I'm going to glue this to a piece of smoky slate. So this, what I said, was 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So this is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. And so I'm just going to add some glue to this piece here. And we're just going to have a tiny border, like a 1/16 of an inch all the way around, but it's just enough so that this will kind of pop off of our black layer. I don't want to have, you know, just this on black, because it really looks a little bit better if you can have something that, you know, pops it off there, and that smoky slate really does. All right, so I also need to stamp a cute little Frankenstein doggy, and I need a scrap of white. Here we go. And my memento pad. This is one of our white craft ink pads. And when you order this, it comes empty with a white re-inker. But I did not want it to be white. I wanted to have a foam memento pad. So I just inked it. Oh my gosh. I feel like my internet just went out on me for a second. Unfortunately, that does happen to me sometimes when it's hot. Let's hope that it's an isolated incident and that it only happened for a brief moment. Okay. What am I doing here? I've got some blends. I've got a light smoky slate, which I'm going to use to color most of his face. So I'm just going to come in with my light smoky slate, and we'll just go around and get his little face colored in. I probably should be doing my little circular motion. I kind of feel like that works a little bit better. Oh no, it looks like my marker might be dying. I actually decided to do this card for a swap that I am in, and I was coloring last night a whole bunch of these, and I feel like my marker might be dying on me all of a sudden. So guess what? I'm just going to throw that on my free shipping order, and I'll get free shipping on it. So yay! Okay, we're going to hope that that turns out okay. Then I also have the dark. I can get the lid off, and I'm going to do his eye. Like sometimes, you know, those cute little doggies have that one eye that's kind of outlined in black. I just kind of felt like that would be cute. And we'll do the ears. There we go. I'm going to have to bring that light back in because I need to do his little paws. Definitely have enough ink for that. And then this little spot up here on his head. Okay. Then I decided, I'm trying to find my little friend here so I can copy what I did. I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to do the V of his shirt and his sleeves. And then we're going to do his pants. Aren't they just adorable? And then we're going to do one of the stripes on his little socks. Okay. And then I'm going to bring in my light Petunia Pop, and I'm going to do the other stripe on his socks and the cuff on his sleeves. And then I am going to color his little shirt in Petunia Pop. And then we're going to come back in and add some zigzag lines, which is really cute. I think I found that on the Stampin' Up! Website. Like if you were to look at the card samples for the Spooky Halloween, I think that one of the samples has his little shirt zigzagged. And so this is the dark now. And so I'm just going to zigzag it across. his little shirt in a couple spots here. And then maybe down here at the base of his ripped up shirt. Okay, oh, and his lollipop we need to do, so we'll do that also light petunia pop. There we go. And then this little, his little, I don't even know what you call those. Frankenstein has those little bolts on the side of his face. We're just going to do those with black. Okay, and then we would die cut this out, and then we would have our cute little Frankenstein doggy friend here with his cute little outfit. And so we can bring our card back in, and he's just going to hang out like right down here. I'll use a couple dimensionals to stand him up. You know what? I think I might need a mini, whoops, on his sucker. So let's put a mini there on his sucker. Let's see, I keep forgetting that I'm forgetting to read the comments. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any comments here that are necessary. Cheryl said she just got this DS today, and that's the last comment I see. So I think we're good. Okay, so let's just go ahead and add him right there. Then we have our sentiments, and I need to pull that out. So I'm using the one that says no tricks, all treats. Get a block for that. I think this block will work. Yes, for what we're doing, it will totally work. And then I also have a very skinny little strip of cardstock. This is a 3/8 inch wide piece of cardstock. And I am going to use some Petunia Pop ink. And you can do this one of two ways. You can mask off if you want to take a piece of Scotch tape. And I only want the words no tricks. So you can put your Scotch tape right below the word no tricks. And you can ink that up, and then you can remove your tape. That's probably the best way to go about it if you're at all concerned. Or you can not bother with the tape, and because you can see through this stamp, you can see that I'm at the very edge of the pad, tapping in just the words no tricks. And then I can stamp that on my little strip here. And there we have our little no tricks phrase. So if you know what you're doing and you can see, which you all know that I have everything I need, but I don't know what I'm doing, as we discussed a few weeks ago. And I can't see that well, and I was able to do it. So if you don't want to mess around with the tape, then this works perfectly. Okay, I need to trim off the end at the no. So I'm going to trim that off, and I'm going to trim a little bit off the other end as well. And then I'm going to bring in a pair of scissors, and I'm going to kind of flag this. So we'll just use our snips and flag that. Okay. So then what we have is I need to add this to my card. I think I'm going to do some dimensionals on that as well. So let's go with 5, just because 5 is a good number. Gives you one in the middle and one in each corner, and then we won't have any sagging layers, because nobody likes sagging layers. And then I'm just going to try to center this from top to bottom and from side to side, doing my best. And these eyes, sometimes they help me, sometimes they don't. And then this little guy I'm going to put right up here in the corner, kind of in the corner, and I'm going to use a mini dimensional right here at the edge, so that it's the same height as my layer. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right there. And then that should stick that down nicely. So I'm putting this to the edge of the card at the fold. And I'm trying to make sure that it's straight, which I think it is. Oh, no, I just moved it. I just moved it. Joan's joining us now. She had to eat some dinner, which of course you must, Joan. I get it. Then we're going to bring in our foam stars, and I'm going to use some of the black ones. Looks like I haven't even used the black ones yet. What the heck? And I'm going to add them up here near the top. So there's 2, and then we'll take a medium-sized one. And maybe we'll stick that right, no, we'll put it down here in this little open space by the window ledge. And so these stars do have some sparkle to them. So hopefully the camera is picking up a little bit of shine there, along with our fun iridescent ribbon. I'm super excited to use these foam stars for my Christmas cards, these white ones. I'm very excited about that. Okay, then I have a 5¼ by 4" piece of white for the inside, and you can see that I have stamped the other side of this. So the stamp says no tricks, all treats. So I cleaned that off. Then I inked up the all treats in pumpkin pie, did a few of the little sparkles, and then I did add the bats. And so now we can add this to the inside. And while we are here doing Halloween cards, I have a few to share with you that I have gotten in some swaps. And they are all very cute. Okay, so there we go. Here is another one that I've almost finished. I need to add my stars. And this one I decided to go with using the little hippopotamus die cut out of the, because in the designer series paper, there are 2 sheets that have a bunch of die cuts, and this cute little hippopotamus is one of them. And you can see I added a little bit, all of the bandages on this hippopotamus were white, but I went ahead and colored a few of them with some petunia pop so that they kind of blended in with the whole card. I do need to add my sentiment and my inside layer to this. Those are done. How cute are they? Here's another one. Like I said, I think I made that on live a few weeks ago. I'm sure some of you were here for that. Then I have a few more cards to share. I've got this cute one here. Isn't that fun? We have this one. I love the little doggy in the circle. We've got this one with the cute little witch kitty. And look at how cute that is with the stars across her hat. That is adorable. We've got the bat die cuts. Here is another one. Got some more bat die cuts there, and then we've got some yellow cardstock behind the house. It looks like the windows, you know, something, the lights are on in there. We've got this one. Got a little bit of Winkostella around the rooftops of this house, looking pretty good there. We've got this one, another one of the cute little kitties, and this one has a broom. Adorable. Here is where I got my inspiration for my Boo card. I got this one in a swap, but I really wanted to be able to add the pop. So that's why I went ahead and added some blending of this paper so that I could incorporate my petunia pop. And then I have these 2 cards. They are basically the same card. This one just uses the die cut haunted house with some petunia pop in the background. And then this one uses the adorable little kitty cat. So there are some fun Halloween ideas for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me throw this stuff back in their buckets somewhat, so we have some room for our next project. I am going to put these stamps behind me so I don't end up touching them or anything, because Lord knows that would be a tragedy. Okay, so for my next project, I'm going to I finally purchased the Coneflower Celebration stamp set and dies. It is a bundle. This is in the annual catalog. And it's been on my wish list, and I finally got it in because you know what we're going to do with this? We're going to use two-tone cardstock because I love two-tone cardstock. And this is a really fun project to use two-tone cardstock on. So I've got a bunch of stamps here out of the set that we're going to be using. So let me get those out of my bucket. Lots and lots. We've got a few ink colors. So I wanted to use Pretty in Pink for my flower because I have Pretty in Pink two-tone cardstock. I don't have every color yet. I am slowly adding to my collection to get them all, but I didn't have every color. So I decided to go with Pretty in Pink. And so I pulled out my handy dandy color coach, and I decided to see what colors go with Pretty in Pink. I have two cards, one from this year, one from last year. And when I immediately turned to this card and I saw Pretty in Pink, Old Olive, and Misty Moonlight, I was very intrigued. And so I thought, let's see what we can do with those colors. And I think I came up with a pretty good card. So those are the colors that we're going to be using for the Coneflower Celebration. I also pulled in this paper. This is a carryover paper. It's called the Regal Distressed Patterns. And as you can see, we've got a white piece with some gold plaid. We've got a pretty peacock piece with some gold leaves. And then we've got a kind of cherry cobbler piece with a different kind of plaid. So I'm using this white piece here, and I cut a chunk out of that. And my chunk is 3 3/4 by 5.5. So I've got a Misty Moonlight card base. And then I cut this piece to go on to the front. So that's going to be kind of our design in the background, is that fabulous designer series paper. I've got a 4x5 1/4 inch piece for the inside. And then we have some die cut things here, but I'll do some stamping and some die cutting. Let me get my paper. Okay, so here is my Pretty in Pink paper. I ended up getting this out of the, what do you call that? The Wildflower birthday kit, the scrapbooking kit, had some of this paper in it, so I have some pieces in here. And so we are going to take out a fairly large piece. And I am going to stamp on the light side. So here is where my paper is. I'm going to stamp on this side. And I am going to bring in my foam mat because this stamp that I'm going to use is photopolymer. As you can see, it is a very large photopolymer stamp. And we're going to use the Pretty in Pink ink. Get that out of there. And I am going to ink this up with my Pretty in Pink ink pad. Again, this is the light side of the two-tone cardstock. This is the dark side. Okay, so I am stamping on the light side, and I'm going to stamp down here at the bottom of this piece. And so here we have our beautiful Coneflower. Now, the die in this set is kind of like a twofer. So it's like to make a folded, so you can fold it over. So what you want to do is one side will go over the piece perfectly, the other side will not. So you can see if you try to stick this one on here, it does not line up down here on the petals. So you definitely know then you need to flip it around and then it will fit really nicely. So what you're going to end up getting is this. So you're going to get a piece that has your stamped flower, and then you're going to have, oh my gosh, there goes my phone again. It just gleeked out on me. So here's what you get. And then there's the fold line, you fold it in half, but I'm going to force it to fold a little farther than the fold line so that I'm going to get a little bit of the dark down here at the bottom. So this is the light side, this is the dark side. So there's just a little bit of contrast there using that two-tone cardstock, which is really fun. Okay, so I'm going to kind of score that. Now, if you want this to kind of stay open a little bit, you can take a dimensional. Where are my dimensionals? Here we go. And we can stick a dimensional in here and we can close that. And then you can see it looks a little more 3D that way. That dimensional kind of keeps that open. So it gives it just a little bit more interest. Then what I did was I die cut the single flower out of regular Pretty in Pink cardstock. There's no stamping on this one. So we are going to cover up some of the stamping, but you'll still be able to see it through the petals. You can still see that there was some there. And so this is regular Pretty in Pink cardstock. You know what? The more I'm looking at that, maybe I don't want that on top. We'll see. I cut it to stick it on top, but I don't know if I'm going to want to keep it because then it's going to take away all my beautiful stamping, and we'll have to see. So we also need some leaves. So let's grab some old olive. And we have a couple of leaf stamps here. Judy says to leave it off. I'm kind of thinking that too, actually, now that I've actually done it and looking at it, I think I might. Okay, so now we have some regular old olive cardstock, and there's two leaf pieces. So there's one, and there is two. And then we would then die cut those. And so I have those. Whoops, I'm trying to find them. They're on my desk here. So I have those right there. And then we also need a stem. So let's go ahead and ink up the stem. And we can put that over here. We don't need the whole stem. So if we don't get the whole stem on this piece, it's going to be fine because we don't need the whole piece. So you can see I didn't get the whole thing in there. But here I did die cut it, and here it is at the end where I didn't get the whole thing, but it's going to be totally fine. Okay, so now we have our leaves and our stem and our flower. We also need a butterfly. There's a cute butterfly in the set, and we're going to go with Misty Moonlight ink on Misty Moonlight cardstock. And after it does dry all the way, it will look like this. It did dry, so I've got my butterfly. I'm going to set this one aside. There is this really cool loop die. Look what that does. How cool is that? We're going to use this under our sentiment. So this is out of Crumb Cake. And then finally, we have this piece here that is like the top of the flower, and this is out of crumb cake. And so you can see that it does die cut some little sections here that you can kind of pop out with your thumb if you want to, and I think I will. I did stamp this piece one time first with this little speckle. I did it in crumb cake ink on this crumb cake piece. And so I am still working on getting those little, I don't know what you call them, just part of the flower middle, getting some of those to come popped out of here, just to add a little more dimension to the whole thing. All right, so that's fun. So that I think I am going to stick on here just because I need it to have some contrast of color. But I think we're going to leave off the other piece. We'll see when we get to the assembling of everything, which I think we are just about there because we have all the pieces that we need. So we're going to bring this in. I'm not going to glue it down just yet. We're going to go ahead and assemble everything. So here's our flower that I had envisioned of being something like that with my butterfly up here. Oh, we need the top of our flower. And we'll get that on so it looks right. And then we're going to have a butterfly. And then we're going to have our stem come down. You can see that's why it didn't matter if we didn't have the whole stem. And then we've got a leaf on that side and a leaf on that side. So that's basically what we're going to have, is this beautiful flower on here. So now that's how that looks. If we add this, just for show, we'll just show you what it looks like. We don't have to do it if we decide it looks terrible. It does give an added layer to the flower. It does give it even more of a 3D effect, okay, if you can see that. So I don't know what you guys think. If you like the detailed die cut on there, I'll give you a little glimpse of that, and then we'll take it off, and you guys can let me know if we want it with or without the die cut. So I guess we can go yes or no in the comments. And here it is without, which we do get to see the petals a lot more. So it's a tough call. I think a person could make it either way and it would be amazing. You know what I mean? I really like the added dimension that you get from adding that piece. I think the dimension is really cool. So I don't know. So we'll let you guys decide. I'll let you vote a little bit. And then of course, I'm going to make the final decision because I always do. But I do like your input. Okay. So then I have a little strip of white. This is the same dimension as it was with the previous card. So it's 3/8 of an inch. The length doesn't really matter because we're going to cut it down. There is a little celebrate sentiment in the stamp set. And so we are going to stamp celebrate you, I guess is what it says. And we're going to stamp that here in the center of this. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's centered. We're going to trim the ends. But sometimes if you're looking at the center of something, it's easier to get it, totally centered. I think that worked out pretty good. Okay, let's see. Do we have any votes going on? We have a yes, a no, a yes, a no, a no, a no, a no. And we have 2 and 5 people that are not for sure. We're going to go without it. Maybe I'll make another one and have them both, but I don't know. Okay, so this little piece we are going to cut basically to the ends of the stamping. So that's why it didn't really matter how long it was. It could be too long and it was fine. And I'm going to add it to this little piece just for some added interest. So I'm just going to take some glue and I'm going to add some little dots here, right in the center of these rings and maybe across the top. And I'm thinking that's about how long my piece is. And then I'm going to stick that on there, and we're going to have a few of these loops underneath just to kind of add a little interest to our sentiment. I'm trying to make sure that there's equal distance there. Okay, I think that's good. And then I'm going to snip this off, same thing, right to the edge of our sentiment piece. And then we have this cute little scallopy bottom. All right, so now we need to add our flower. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to add some glue to this top piece here so that we can get our crumb cake layer added. Okay. Get that on there. There we go. And there is just a skosh that I can see, so I'm going to kind of trim that off because I don't want to see the pink up there. I only want to see the crumb cake. Okay. All right, so we can go ahead and add this piece to the front of the card. And we're centering it, so it's 5.5 inches long, so it's the length of the card base. So we're just going to center it from side to side. This looks like it might be a little longer than my card base, but, or is it that I can't see and so I didn't get it all the way to the top? That's exactly what it is. So, because I'm fairly anal, I am going to cut off this top here, just because I don't want that to be showing that there's no paper up there. And then on the bottom here, I think I can just use my scissors to cut along the edge. I'm kind of particular about paper hanging over the edge. Some people aren't, and that's fine. Okay, so then we have our fun coneflower, and we're going to add that. So I'm just going to throw some glue on that. And we're having it at a fairly sharp angle here. And then I am going to add my stem. So we'll add some glue to that. And we can kind of lift this up a bit. Get the stem in there in the center. Try to center that. And we'll end up cutting that off as well. And then, let's see, I think the leaf goes like this. So I'm just going to add a little glue to the base of it. And actually, you know what? I need to pull this up because I want it to be, I want my leaf to be under the stem. So let me do this on this one too. And something like that. Okay, and then I'm going to come back here and add a little glue to the base of my stem. There we go. Okay, now we need our butterfly, and so I'm going to put the butterfly up here. So I'm going to put a couple of mini dimensionals right there. Oh, isn't this amazing? This was a scrap. Don't you love being able to use scraps? It makes me very happy to be able to use up my scraps. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, did I put those on the wrong side? No, they're on the right side. Okay, and this is just going to kind of hang over the flower. So there we have our cute little butterfly. Oh goodness, I meant to put some ribbon on there. You know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to use tear and tape, and then we'll have to cut the ribbon. So, whew, let's see how this is going to work. All right, so we're going to try to get the ribbon across. There we go. And I already had, I think I totally screwed this up. Well, we're going to make it work because we always do. You know how it is with me. I always screw things up, but I usually 99 times out of 100 can figure out how to fix it. Okay, so we are going to, this ribbon looks like it is just about the same width as the tear and tape. So we got lucky there. Okay, and we're going to go across, pressing it down. Okay, and now I just need to somehow get in here and trim this off. There was a little bit. I should have put this underneath the paper, as you've probably gathered, but I didn't, and so now I've got this problem. Okay, well, you know what? It is what it is. We're just going to figure it out. And then I'm going to add my little sentiment right here. So I'm just going to throw some glue back here. Actually, I'm going to tap it a little bit because I got way too much. And I'm going to go just under this. There. Okay. I think we did it. It's of course not as polished as I would like it to be, but Whoever gets it isn't going to know that I screwed the whole thing up. They're never going to know. Let's cut the end of that stem off so we can get rid of that. And then I'm going to cut just a little bit of this side of the ribbon because it's a little bit too long. There we go. Oh, so pretty. We need some gems. What am I going to get? I've got a whole pile full of stuff here. Ooh, those might work. What else is in here? Oh, I was thinking of that. That's not going to work. I think the ones that I pulled out is yep, that's the ticket. So these are from the Charming Day collection, and these are, they're probably supposed to be Night of Navy, but we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to use them anyway. And so I am going to add a couple up here, and then I'm going to add one a little, how about at the edge of our sentiment piece, okay? And then for the inside, I've already got that done. So I went ahead and added a little strip of the same designer series paper. It's a 1/2 inch. I stamped the sentiment inside and another butterfly. And I have to tell you guys, this is me to a T. I'm sorry I missed your special day. Let's extend the celebration. You know, you would think a person who makes cards basically for a living would be able to send off cards to people in a timely fashion. The answer would be no. No, I cannot. You will get your birthday card if you're on my birthday list, but it will most likely be late. And so, hence, this is the perfect sentiment for me. That turned out really good. And I love how using the two-tone cardstock gives that other color underneath, and then adding that dimensional gives it that really nice dimension. So, yay! So that's fun. Okay, so that is my second card for the evening. So I have this card and this card that we made tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live. I always love coming live with you guys. And another shameless plug. If you are looking for some two-tone cardstock to play with, remember I do have 2 different options available with, like I said, 48 6x6 inch sheets. And I do have them ready to roll. If you get it tonight, it will go out tomorrow and you will have it very quickly. So that's awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you again here. Same bat time, same bat channel, as they say. And definitely take advantage of your free shipping, because who doesn't love free shipping, right? All right, guys, I will see you again next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.